Hi guys, and welcome to Controllers and Couches. I'm FullMetalChicken.
I am Stephfafahh.
And on this podcast, we're going to be discussing all manner of things, from games to music to books to bookage. Yes, to
technology to the less science.
To the less science, maybe even a little bit of history, but we're more science
and just cool stuff that we kind of go, oh hey, because we have these discussions all the time where I'm like, oh, have a look at this, or I read this, or I saw this.
Exactly.
So we just thought we'd bring that to here.
Yeah, so essentially at the moment, if people are interested in a bit of an intro, I'm a biochemist in my free time, and then I'm also a editor. I'm also a hobbyist, so I like building model kits and all that sort of stuff.
And a YouTuber.
A YouTuber, so the links will be added to this podcast as well, so people can...
Yep, in the episode notes, so they can find you.
Exactly.
And see what other cool things we're spamming the internet with.
Exactly, so that only scratches the surface on what we do, but generally we're geeks and we're nerds, so we essentially, if it's cool, we'll hunt
talk
it down.
about it.
And we'll talk about it. Yeah, so that's me. Yeah.
Hi, I am Steph. Just Steph. Steph's fine. What am I? What do I do? I'm just a poor, broke uni student.
Not the atypical student, but you know, in the sense of just painting the facade of yes, I'm a student
of the biomed.
Of the biomed. So you know, hashtag biomed life. You know, everyone sort of takes the goal of you're a student, you fit this category.
And you know, I only decided to do like the 2 hardest subjects in my final coursework year, aiming to get into honours next year, kind of dying. It starts up in a month, literally a month and a week.
Yeah.
So that'll be fun. But apart from that, I am a YouTuber as well.
Yes.
I put daily gaming stuff, and I think I talk about books and TV shows and again movies every now and again when uni isn't too crazy.
Yes.
But
so
that's about me.
Yeah, on the book side, if Steph was talking about how many books we actually have, this would be a very, 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 very long bookcast.
Yeah.
A bookcast, not a podcast, a bookcast.
An epic.
An epic
bookcast. Like the last time we counted, and we made a catalogue. Like that was my first project over my summer break, and I think we have...
We're
have a look.
About around the 2,000 mark at the moment.
Yeah, and that's just counting, not even counting all the stuff we have in your room, because I haven't catalogued all your room yet.
Yeah,
but,
so there's a lot more. And then we've got comics and...
Yeah, that's not including like all your manga and stuff as well.
Not so much manga, but more just like graphic novels.
Yeah, well, I'm sorry, I was getting to that.
No, it's all good. I don't have much manga, but I have lots and lots of, retro
and comics and stuff too. Yeah.
So.
Coolio.
Yeah. So
This is our first like podcast.
Yeah, this is the first. So
I listen to a lot. You listen to the ones that I make you listen to.
Yeah.
Every now and again, but I listen to Coffee with Rachel. I've caught up and I listen to that weekly now. Into the Twilight I just discovered because of Coffee with Rachel, and I'm halfway through that, catching up with that. We watched Kendall Ray on YouTube.
We do.
For her conspiracy videos, and she and her husband Josh started their podcast last weekend, and so that was the sort of thing where I've gone, because I've been bugging Michael to start with me for how many years now, and we always said we're going to do it, and this time I was like, no, we're doing it now, you don't have a choice. So the Mile Higher podcast as well, and obviously Rooster Teeth, but I've been trying to catch up with that for 5 years, so that hasn't happened.
Yeah, so you've listened to way more podcasts than me, but I'm more of an audiobook specialist.
Enthusiast.
Yeah.
You major in audiobooks.
I major in audiobooks purely because if I don't have time to read them, I will listen to them.
Plus in like the lab and the offices and stuff.
So it's easier just to listen to them, even while driving. However, I have discovered that the car that we currently drive, I'm not allowed to listen to audiobooks in the car only because...
Look, you brought this upon yourself.
I know, because I had to make a choice between charging a GPS and listening to an audiobook, and in my failed wisdom, I figured that...
We should point out it's because we were using my phone as the GPS, like obviously through Google Maps, and we're not talking about like a 20-minute drive just down the road. We're talking like a 9-hour...
9-hour drive, yeah.
You know, in the dark, at night. It's 12 o'clock. We're going across state lines, and we had no idea where we were going.
Yeah.
And in Michael's car, there's only one USB port, and it was more impertinent to listen to the audiobook because it was the unabridged version.
Yes.
And you were scared you were going to lose your place.
I was scared that I was going to lose where we were up to.
And I was like, no, it works. Like, it's fine. Like, it's going to remember. It's electronic. And you're like, nah, you were convinced. And so we had to pull over on the side of the road at fucking 1 o'clock so I could get out of the car. Actually, no, you were nice enough. You pulled into a petrol station. And I got my laptop out and charged my phone with my laptop so that way we couldn't know where we were going. And then the day after we came back, like 2 days later, we tried it and I proved it to you and you were like, oh, my bad.
Yeah, because now whenever we mention so much as an audiobook in the car, I get a look of death. So I've chosen not to upload any more made audiobooks for that purpose. So now I just settle for, hardcore rock or, intergalactic R&B or...
Or as your mother would say, Iraqi house music.
Iraqi house
music. Your mother loves Iraqi
featuring
house
the Wiggles.
Music.
Yeah. So, yeah. Pretty much...
That's it.
Yeah, so all in all, very eclectic. So anyone who perchance takes the time to listen to this will notice that this is an extremely eclectic podcast. Bipolar too, because 1 minute I may be talking about ducks and the next minute I'll be talking about pigeons.
That's later on. But anyway, in terms of future projection, we're just going to talk about daily life sort of things, news, current events, books, obviously, like we've mentioned, TV shows, movies, anything that's happening in the world of science and technology. Michael's phrase that he likes to live by is show me the PubMed ID, or it didn't happen.
ID, yep.
But yeah, apart from that, I think we're planning on putting up maybe one episode a week, unless I can get Michael into it some more. At this point, in terms of scheduling our weekend, well, your weekend, and I live by your timetable, Monday is your Saturday, and Tuesday is your Sunday.
Yep.
So they're the days that if we get anything done in terms of recording that we're going to try and record on. So I don't necessarily know because, like I said, it's our first podcast. I know it takes like 24 to 48 hours or sometimes a couple of weeks for your first podcast to go live. So once we figure out the traction on that, we'll have a bit more of a solid set schedule.
Yeah, so we're just going to test the waters and see how it goes.
So, yeah. I don't know how long we're going to go for. I'm not shooting to go over more than 90 minutes of a time per day unless we get really into nitty-gritty. So
it might be anywhere from, say, 20 minutes to half hour to an hour.
It varies depending on how much we want to chit-chat.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Unless, people want to listen to the longer stuff and we'll throw out the longer stuff.
Done. Yeah.
Yeah, so... Also, too, if you have any topics that you want us to cover, feel free to,
Yeah, let us know.
Yeah, PMS us.
PMS?
PM us. No, we're not writing letters. So.
PMS is something completely different, darling.
No.
You're doing amazing, sweetie.
I know, right? So, drop us a line.
Yeah.
And,
Yeah, alright. Topic number one. Hawaii. You gotta say it properly,
Hawaii,
mate.
but not Hawaii 5-0. Just
unfortunate for me.
Yeah, so,
the question is, do you think they'll put a spin-off of it? Because I don't know what Hawaii 5-0 has been doing in the last, 2-3 years, unless they've already done a bomb threat video.
Possibly.
Episode, but, who knows?
Yeah. So, as everyone or may not be aware of, there was a little bit of, let's just say someone definitely dropped the pineapples in Hawaii and accidentally issued a missile threat.
Yeah, at 8 o'clock on a Saturday morning. Because, the last time the state of Hawaii woke up at 8 a.m., to a bomb threat, it was really freaking safe.
Yeah. Really, really safe. It was, I'd say on the verge of panic mode. And
which is obviously... See, it's a double-edged sword because you're as a first world country, and I thought about it after you went for work, but for us, it's like unbeknownst,
Yeah,
you know?
we're not
It's
used to
too
it.
much.
No, it's
You
not.
don't know how to comprehend that, and you really realise that your life could be over
Yes.
in a moment's notice. But then there are places in the world where this stuff is so common, happens that many times a day, that they don't have these systems.
No.
Because it's just, oh yeah, you know, are you going to see your family if you cross the street to go buy bread and milk today?
You won't.
You don't know.
And there's certain, unfortunately, there's certain cities, certain countries where a bomb going off it's more a case you don't even get there's no warning, like
it just happens.
It's just a bomb will go off, or a strike will hit, a building will burn down. Unfortunately, people will have to suffer with loss of life, and it's just an
no one
everyday thing. So
cares.
people
Yeah.
will be desensitized to
Yeah,
that.
and like, did it make our papers? Like, even this one, like looking at our Herald Sun newspaper today, it only made it to page, like the world news page on 17.
Yeah.
Nothing about it.
But football does.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, football...
And obviously the tennis, because that starts today too.
You've got to promote that. But when you look back, say for instance, look at it as a psychological experiment. If you have people, say for instance, you run a fire drill. Everyone knows the fire drill. You run the fire drill, no one panics, no one stresses. It's a case of, oh yeah, it's, you know, a typical fire drill. We're just going to mosey
It's
on
more
out
of a
the
fun
door.
thing.
Yeah, let's all
People
go
don't take it
outside.
seriously.
You know, everyone's calm. So this kind of drill, without any prior warning, it's a case of this is abnormal for their way of life.
But I think the message specified, like, this is not a drill.
Yes.
Whether it had been the actual text message, or the one, you know how I showed you the video of where it was on the bar, like they were playing Miss Olay versus Florida, I think it was, and then the banner came across and then the voiceover. So it's like, this is not a drill. But then even though they say, oh, this is not a drill, it took 38 minutes. And they didn't even use, like, the radio, which is established since World War One to be the main form of communication.
And there was nothing.
And there was nothing.
And primarily, you think about it, everyone's getting warnings on their phones.
Yeah, and then nothing.
And then nothing. So, looking from that perspective, if you want to see what will happen if, say, hope it never happens.
Cut away social media.
You cut away
modern technology.
Exactly, and you just go for that particular test.
What happens?
What happens? I mean, okay, we hear stories of bomb shelters being closed. What happens if, say, for instance, a ballistic missile is fired, it does hit ground,
where do you go?
Where do you go?
do?
You go nowhere.
But, like, that's the thing. Like, if say that this had happened to us, and say that it was real, I don't know if everyone who's eventually going to listen to us is from Oz, but not necessarily. Australia, like 95% of the people that live in Australia live in the port cities.
Yeah.
So whether it be Melbourne, Adelaide, you know, obviously it spreads out and you get your more country and your rural and your remote things. But like the majority of our population is in like Perth, Darwin, and it's all sequestered around our ports.
It's all coastal.
And so it's like, say that something happened in the city Melbourne, which we're like 20 something Ks from, it's about a 15-minute drive if we were to pack our bags and go now. We would have, like, there's nowhere to go. Like, the Hume Freeway, to get out, like, that's how you get more inland here in Australia. And the Hume Freeway, like, connects every state, every city, and it just spans nationwide. That can't even, like, especially where, you know, Epping is and Craigieburn, that can't handle normal 9-to-5 traffic, let alone a mass inland exodus.
No. And with a mass exodus, you see how people react, and with a warning like this, people are not primed for it. They're not used to it.
And that's when you get looting and everything like that.
But also too, I mean, I don't know. Maybe there was looting. We're not sure. But seeing the response on the news and hearing what was going on, if you wanted to see how a system worked,
that's the way to do it.
This is how you do it. Looking on the colder side of things, everyone's happy in the cul-de-sac. Everyone's, you know, dealing with their life.
Oh, get over it.
Get over it, it's fine. However, something like this, it shakes the tree. You want to shake the tree and you want to see what comes out of that tree and where it goes.
This is how you do it.
So, hypothetically, what happens if they've got drones up or there's specific satellites that are monitoring a certain area? So you've got people monitoring the chaos. It's uncontrolled chaos in a way. Or is it controlled chaos? No. It's controlled chaos.
It's controlled chaos if you're on the side where it is controlled.
They basically just played a big
game of what if.
They wanted to play real life Sims. They wanted to see what happened when we put in a threat. And people basically tried to follow their emergency procedures. So in a way, you see how Hawaii is prepared for something like that. But however, people tried to go to bomb shelters. Okay, they couldn't get into the bomb shelters, but they knew where they were. They tried to get in. Hypothetically, what if all those bomb shelters were open? So what's to say that, I don't know how it works regarding the bomb shelters in Hawaii, whether they're locked 24/7 or they're open, or someone has to take them to the bomb shelter to open. I don't know how it works. It'd be nice to know if anyone from Hawaii is listening to this, so they can let us know.
But it would be random, and also, I don't know what the stats are in terms of, tourist. But when people say, oh yeah, how many people get married and go, oh yeah, we're going to Hawaii for our honeymoon?
Heaps.
Or when people are like, oh yeah, I'm going to the US. Oh, you're going to Hawaii? Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
You don't even refer to it. It's got to be one of the biggest. It's like the Great Barrier Reef for us. Where does everyone want to go when they come to Australia? Oh, we're going to fucking Queensland. You know what I mean? We're going to the Gold Coast. Where school is, at the Gold Coast.
Coastal. If you were to put a tsunami warning up, guarantee you those people would freak out. As much as you want to go inland, getting inland is the problem, because you've got to go through hills to get there.
Yeah, and what are the streets like and the infrastructure? And people, when we were going through and seeing what everyone was posting on Twitter, people were abandoning their cars on the highway with their cars running, just grab whatever they could carry and family members and their pets, and running because it was just gridlock. And that was in, 30-something minutes worth of panic.
The other thing too is a ballistic missile. What's its payload? How
do they, how long did they know to, how, I don't know what the term is for the targeting, how long did they know how long the path of flight was?
Would you have an ETA of
Yeah,
impact?
yeah.
Would you know, okay, this...
Where is it actually going? Is it going for the mainland? Is it going for Oahu?
Is it going Waikiki? I guarantee you, if they've said, okay, there's a interballistic missile going... is it even interballistic?
Ballistic missile,
yeah.
I think that's what they reported it as.
So is it... Then you have to take into account, is it like a drop and fly? Is it...
targeted? Is it laser? Is it, coming off the back of a Apache helicopter? Yeah. Is it ours? Whose is it?
Yeah, and I am by no means an expert on military guidance systems or anything. I've just watched one too many movies, read one too many books, and played...
You have questions.
I have questions, so I'm no means an expert. I just like things that go boom, but preferably not in my backyard.
People and hurting other innocent people.
Yeah, you understand the concepts of what things can do. But I guarantee you, if they've said, okay, yeah, someone's fired a ballistic missile, and someone's gone, oh, someone's just dropped a SAR bomb, that's a case of, you ain't running from that. If someone's dropped a nuclear payload or aimed a nuclear payload at your, residential area...
You can't get out.
I guarantee you there's no way you are going to be able to get away from that in time by the time it hits. If they've said, okay, it's going to reach you in 5.5 minutes or 10 minutes.
You just hug, the Canadian backpackers. You just hug your family, down 3 shots, and you text everyone, these poor people did. And that's it.
Yeah, basically put your head between your legs and kiss your bum goodbye.
Well, they say, you go to the centralmost room of your house that's most protected. You seal everything you can. If you've got lead, go into your fridge, your deep fridge, your freezers, and switch everything off. Or, sit in your bath if it's a lead bath. And then collect as much water as you can before it gets contaminated.
Well, on the topic of lead, if you worked in Aldi, you could just hide in the section where they have the taps. Sorry, spoiler alert there, but yeah.
Too soon.
Too soon. I thought I'd just tap into that one, but
yeah. Was it dripping in the back of your brain?
Yes. So, that was the big thing for us, where we just kind of went, wow, that's a new one. Considering the history of Hawaii and Pearl Harbor, you kind of go, well, we saw what happened the last time someone didn't pay attention to a phone call. Oh, look, birds. Not birds. So,
but I just want to know what the armed forces were doing. I want to know if Pearl Harbor, like the memorial, I've never been there, you've been there.
Yes.
But I want to know if it was shut down. I want to know if the Navy was there and they're like, no, not happening again, let's get everyone out of the cove, you know what I mean?
I'm
I just want to know.
they would have locked it down. They probably would have locked it down because you have active personnel on.
Because, like, the police knew, so I'm assuming they would have told, the forces, but is this anywhere? Like, when I did my, in quotation marks, research, I didn't find any of that, so I don't know.
I think it was primarily just civilians that caught the
brunt of the stress.
So it's not so much a wolf in sheep's clothing. It's a case of, I think, the big question, which, I suppose, company or country, if you want to look at it from that perspective, is playing funny buggers. Because... Well,
it was on a state level, so it's not federal. It was the state of Hawaii themselves. And I can't, like, the advisory team, the ones that actually run that, if you want to call it a company, but that, like, the people that were in charge of what happened in that room, supposedly it happened during a shift change. And so they run through this however many times a day, every day. And if you're dead tired from a shift of work and you've been there all day, and it's like, when people play that, like, for example, the colour black, so the word black is typed, but the colour is red, and then they ask you, read out the colour that the print is in, not the actual, the word itself, which colour is it? But if you're dead tired, and it's like on your phones, cancel, accept, your brain is just hardwired to go yes, no, yes, no, yes, no. And if you're dead tired, but then you also have people who are saying, what are you talking about? These systems need more than a yes-no answer. There are special codes. There are keys. Regardless of anything that happens, you can't just switch on a machine and hit enter.
It's not an atypical, oh, look, I have a red button at my desk. No, I don't have a red button at my desk. No, it's a little bit more complicated than that.
Yeah, that's the part that I don't understand, because you'd assume that there'd be a lot more governance, a lot more guidelines. You'd think it'd just have channels, like, in other situations, you have to call your boss, and your boss is like, what do you see? What does it look like? Alarms go off. But I don't know.
It'd be interesting to see what happens
now.
Just say for instance, they've seen the chaos that ensued from people trying
How are they going to fix this situation?
So what happens if they've actually recorded this with...
it'd have to be,
It'd have to be. And you look at the data and go, okay, these are choke points. You now then, say for instance...
have a way to work the system, not so much reinvent the wheel, but you oil the bits that are rusty.
What happens if they then go, okay, say like the Minister of like Infrastructure and Planning or something then looks at it and says, we need to fix these areas. Look, we'll just widen these roads, we'll put these things here that may help...
Yeah, patrol, shelters, which you can understand that they'd be locked in terms of, what do you call it? Not... how kids go in, they graffiti, they want to do illicit things, drug deals, that kind of thing. Like, we hear about it all the time in alleyways in Melbourne.
Yeah.
So you can understand that they'd be locked, but who's going to unlock them? Not necessarily... Obviously, wars are not always planned. You don't want to think about,
What about if they're all electronically controlled so you can just press a button and
unlock
them?
But then again, that also... Who's pressing the button for that? Who's maintaining that?
Yeah. Interesting questions. Or what about if you had underground bunkers, in the sense that you have like a underground monorail system that will take people to...
They have a monorail system in Hawaii, don't they?
Am
I thinking of Florida?
Maybe
I'm thinking of Florida.
Yeah.
But yeah, talking about underground subterranean labs. Moving on to...
Maury.
That was a very neat segue though, wasn't it?
It was a very neat segue. So, in case you've all been living under a rock for the past 12 months, or maybe 24 months...
Rick and Morty's been out, I think, like 3 or 4 years. Don't quote me on it. I'd have to check for you.
I was living under a rock.
Okay, my bad.
Because I like going to rock concerts.
Point being is we rewatched, like, it's our second watch.
Yes.
Run through.
Yeah.
Of the 3 seasons of Rick and Morty.
Which now we have to wait a year and a bit for.
Something, supposedly. Yeah.
So, but I found the more we watch it, the more we...
pick up on it.
We pick up on it.
And you just see, like, because when you're marathoning it, you don't get all the dark humour, and you don't see how twisted and everything is, and this time I was a lot more disgusted and cringed.
But the thing is, the fact that we actually understand it and we can relate to it, it's like a very big
But then this is where I think that they ask the question, are we the crazy ones for writing this? Or are you the crazy one because you understand what we're talking about?
I think we're the crazy ones because we understand it on a deep level. And when they say the maths and the science in certain episodes, you sort of sit there and kind of go, wait a minute, I get this. I get what's going on. And it's just, I tell you what, I need to get some Mr. Meeseeks. I really do.
I love that when we were driving around the other week and we saw the Mr. Meeseeks, like someone hanging, not that it's safe to hang things from your rear view mirror, but like a Mr. Meeseeks plush toy, stuffed toy, was just hanging there.
I'm Mr. Meeseeks, look at me.
I love the SoundCloud remixes that I've been playing for you over the last week. It's amazing.
Absolutely amazing. And it's going to be good to see where they go now because, I mean, the Council of Ricks is pretty much being shattered and they're rebuilding, so...
But only that, there could be more. I don't know.
Oh, I mean, obviously, you've got interdimensional teleportation and...
Yeah.
So, it's just as long as you don't, break the universe with cats. So...
We've already done that.
Just saying though, looking at that episode and seeing the amount of different little screens pop up and you just see all the floating cats going around, it's like my eyes are hurting from, all these space
and the
cats.
fuzzy lines where they sectioned off like the different dimensions and how they've peeled each other off.
Exactly.
And that hurt my eyes too.
But definitely way better than Futurama.
I didn't get, Futurama was before my time, if that makes sense. When Futurama was in its prime, I think I was only 14, 15. And we know how my mum was like, oh no, only evil people watch The Simpsons. And then my brother watches The Simpsons every night. But that's a different story. So I didn't get the whole Futurama kind of thing. Other friends that I went to school with, they spoke about it. But I didn't get it. But this one, I'm glad I got on the bandwagon.
Yeah, definitely Rick and Morty.
I'm glad I caught that train.
But I even looked at it and went, look, Rick and Morty.
Morty.
And then Back to the Future. It's...
you see the parallels there,
yeah,
do you?
the parallels. I mean, Doc Brown looks so much like
At least he's not a raging alcoholic and drug addict.
No, Morty. Morty. But he's not... I don't think Doc Brown has liver failure.
Yeah. Amongst a lot of other failures in life.
So, But I think by far, probably my favourite episode out of all the series is when Rick turns himself into a pickle.
Pickle Rick.
I'm a pickle.
I like the Heads in the Sky one. The Get Shrifty.
Yeah, Get Shrifty. Show us what you got. So, we actually had that on. I think I actually put that as my ringtone, so then I can walk around going,
show me what you got.
So, it's... Yeah, if you haven't watched it yet, watch it.
If you're of the right age.
Of the right age.
Yeah, 15 or over unless parents or guardians approval.
Guardian approval. These days, what? I mean, Call of Duty? Come on. I mean...
But you wrote... You know that meme of white chicks where it's like, I'm going to write a letter. No, don't write a letter. I encouraged Michael to write a letter.
To Activision.
Except it was a what do you call it? A Facebook instant message.
Yeah, message.
Direct message.
So...
And then literally you wrote, I want to say 3 paragraphs.
3 paragraphs.
Across maybe 7 bubbles of text.
Yeah.
And then they're like, if you're still having problems, let us know. Thanks.
And this, I mean, they said, they'd respond in a few days, and it was a week and a half?
Yeah.
Close to a few days. But I was kind enough to thank them for allowing me to vent my spleen. And then I said...
But you weren't going off at them. You were just enforce these rules that you're supposedly policing.
Exactly. So. And I don't know about you. We even had it today. We had a little bit of a game of...
you did. I observed.
Yes. So it was more a case of... We had a guy that was hiding in a truck. Physically in the truck. Sniping out of the truck.
And this isn't the tram in that very Nazi-esque map.
No. It's
the imagery one. It's not that tram. It's...
It was just a little vehicle where
you shouldn't have been able to embed yourself in the environment like that.
It's a solid object, and this guy was in it, so it was a little bit broken, definitely. And I wasn't happy about that. So it's just more a case of how do you go about patrolling a system that is completely broken?
But keep in mind that not that I'm age shaming you because you're not old, right? But keep in mind that these guys tend to make a lot more money out of the fridge. Out of 13, 14, 15, 16-year-olds than they do out of you and I. Do you know what I mean? Because that's where the money lies. They want the smoke weed every day, jokes and the 420 headshot and that's the audience that they want to cater to. They don't care about the veterans that have played this game since the first installment.
Exactly. And I think my problem is I may have to just go back to playing some Modern Warfare or maybe even Battlefield because I grew up so much, even Counter-Strike.
Yeah.
It's being a player who has started off at the first beginnings of FPS.
It must be really hard.
It really is because there are certain...
It's a sellout. You watch literally companies go from, I understand fan service is important, but there's a difference when you're fan servicing people who have helped you get your company and your games where they need to be and then selling out because we want, all the young things to come in here and buy this outfit and pay for this loadout. Exactly.
And I mean, we've had these few little problems with the game. This is even in, split screen multiplayer. And there's one map called with the Gostov Cannon. And we've had ones where, say for instance, you drop a mortar a guided bomb.
You can't see where you're targeting it.
It just stops midair. Literally will stop.
And twists. And it spins. Like in the circumference, like in a circle.
And you lose
and that's it.
Or you'll say have 5 enemies out in the open and you drop a carpet bomb and nothing happens. And someone will throw a knife through a build, 2 walls of a building and it will headshot you and you go... Thanks. I'm just going to go back and play Diablo now because at least we know it's broken, but we can play it.
You know exactly what you're getting. But honestly, I know I said that this last year, and I said it the year before, but this is the first Call of Duty where I haven't played.
No.
Properly.
You played a lot of Infinite Warfare. I mean, don't get me wrong, there are aspects of the game that are good. I like the whole prestige system.
Yeah, I appreciate that and the leveling up and the multiplayer. That's why you buy Call of Duty now.
Yeah.
But I don't know.
No,
I don't like the sledge. I did like Ghosts, even though Ghosts was really, at the time, it was crap. It was too dark and it was so different. But I don't like the Sledgehammer installments.
There's rehashing a game and then there's evolving a game. Essentially, what they could have done was just left Call of Duty with 2 games, and then it would have been a classic. But
money. Let's grind this into the ground.
Essentially, all they need to do now is just get together with EA, and
Yeah. And then you can drive cars around in mod cars with flamethrowers and a ton of other things, and then it'll be what do they call those? What's those words? Collaborations between Need for Speed and Call of Duty.
Exactly.
Need for Duty.
Now, but see, that poses a question. What would happen if Activision got together with Valve?
But Valve has said that they don't want any creators' rights, haven't they? They just want the publication rights.
Yeah.
They want to enforce... they're very PC Master Racy, aren't they, over at Valve?
Well, I think it's all a conspiracy with Half-Life. So, that's essentially the big thing, because...
The people in the know.
Yeah. That was the big thing for me. Valve was the big thing. I mean, we're talking, 1998, so it's definitely one of the big games of the 90s. But... we're still waiting for the next one. What? We get a Call of Duty.
It's been, what is that? It's been 84 years.
It's been 84 years.
From, the Titanic, the grandma looking for, and they take her back at the end of the movie and she's like, it's been 84 years. Yeah. Talking about it's been 84 years, except it's been a lot less. Outlander.
I know, right?
We just finished season 2. And we have to wait. I don't know how long we're waiting for because the Australian Netflix catalogue puts out a season when the others... say that we got season 2 online when season 3 started being played
Yes.
on Netflix, and it was actually aired for the world to see through like stars and stuff. So that means we have to wait a while to get it. I think the DVD itself is coming out late January. I don't know 100%. But point is, we're stuck where we're at, and we know she's going back.
But you find the funny thing about Outlander, you sort of look at it, and from watching Doctor Who when I was younger, she's time travelling.
Yeah.
But she's almost a pivotal point.
She's a pivotal point, but she can't change anything because she's already been there.
So, for all the Whovians out there, how much does Outlander...
Screw with your brain.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So...
Because she's doing all this stuff, and she's like, oh my god, we're making a change. And it's like, woman, you can clearly see you've already been here, and you've already done this, and the universe has already accounted for all your actions.
The only reason that the whole Battle of Culloden could be technically avoided is if she didn't go back and mess around with
If
it.
she had just stabbed Bonnie Prince Charles in frickin' France, in the brothel, in the alleyway, and that's it.
Game over. Done.
But I must admit, when we started watching Outlander, remember like halfway through season 1, and I was like, this is the shit. I'm in for this. I love it. And then the end of season 1 was a really tough, brutal hurdle to get over. And what was all of season 2 about? It was all for nothing.
Well, it just looked like a rehash of season 1. Oh, look, I've been captured.
Except we're in France, but
in
now
France.
we're not.
So, technically, one of us is going to surrender. Oh no, we're in France, we must surrender.
And now they're killing people that, you know, we've watched for 2 seasons.
Yeah, favourite characters dying.
Oh, but we have to hurt, you know, we have to hurt them. We have to give the grief.
We have to do a Game of Thrones. So, in some way, shape or form, has George R.
Oh,
Martin...
I think she's taken the page from George R. Martin's books, because I think she started writing these books in the late 90s, and I know George started writing George started writing early 90s, I think. Is that right? I'd have to go to Goodreads and check.
Yes. But it's also a case of, I mean, I looked at it and went, okay, the Scottish history,
It's alright.
the costumes and everything are very much on point.
Yeah.
You look at some of the old infrastructure around the place,
They did
obviously.
a really good job.
Oh yeah, and we recently watched Timeline.
As much as last weekend.
Yeah, so seeing them go back, you know, to the past, and then I'm very fond of time travel movies. What I may have to do is actually read the book by Mark.
Because then you get more from it.
Absolutely, but
the only thing I didn't like about that movie is the fact that if you're taking a hatchet to someone's ear, I'm sorry, but I don't care how outy, you know, how much your ears look like Dumbo, you're going to lose part of your freaking skull if someone's taken your ear off. Like, I liked the part where he was that guy where he's like, oh no, I'm an archaeologist, I do this for a living, don't tell me I broke his ear off. It's just like, I liked they included that and that was him.
Yes.
But he would have been a lot more injured than just...
No. If he had copped a hatchet to the side of the head, that would have at least...
Yeah.
You'd go through...
A lot more.
Carotid artery. Easily. Just
carotid, thank you very
carotid.
much.
There we go. Carotid.
And you'd go through the bloody axilla too. Like, it'd continue down.
Yeah.
It'd go all the way through your shoulder and everything.
And considering who they got to play in that movie, Gerald Butler, they've got a Scotsman.
Yeah. Interesting
fact, Liam Neeson and Sean Connery were both considered for the role of Jamie in Outlander. Imagine Jamie being...
Liam Neeson. No. He's old. Jamie's like 20s, early 20s.
Yeah, but the character, I mean, imagine Liam Neeson running around Scotland in the middle of it. In the midst of it.
Broadsword.
Yeah. And you sort of go...
In a kilt.
Yeah, but he could...
But he's Zeus. He's trained, what do you call it, Batman. He's Zeus. What other stuff has Liam Neeson done?
I don't know. He's hijacked a plane. Well, look on the bright side. If he's ever to have like a domestic or something in their house, he's going to solve it.
He's going to find you.
Exactly.
I can't remember the word. I will find you and I will kill you.
Yes, from Taken. I think that was like 2008.
Yeah, and there's three movies now. There's Taken, so when his daughter originally got kidnapped, and then there's Taken 2 where his ex-wife and his daughter have gone to Budapest.
Yes.
And then Taken 3 where his daughter is pregnant.
Yes.
And he finds out, and she's helping. They're both about to get captured, but does the mother die in 2 or 1? 3?
3.
So.
But just imagine that, like, across Liam Neeson as Jamie.
Oh yeah, I know, but
it's like he can literally rock up and go, "I don't know who you are, Sassenach. I don't know what you want,
but I will kill you.
But if you're looking for, to stop the Battle of Culloden, I can tell you that I have plenty of money. But I do have a very, very particular set of skills, and it involves being very medical on the surgical side, because I'm a surgeon, not a doctor, but I'm an actor, and I'm sorry he's dead, Jim, and I've acquired them over a very long career. Skills that make me a nightmare for people in the past. If you allow me to kill my future father's ancestor, my husband's ancestor, it'll be the end of it. I won't come back any further. I won't pursue you. But if you don't, I will look for you, I will find you, and I will keep coming back from the future to the past to make sure that you don't do anything stupid that will affect the future. So,
talking about making sure you don't affect the future and going into the past to set things right. Have you heard this? 4.7k people want to protest the new Snapchat update at Federation Square. Melbourne is not happy. And this was just posted an hour ago, and I've gone to the actual Facebook page, and 10,000 people are interested to do this. One of my friends is actually going from high school.
Wow.
She was a couple of years older, in high school years older than me, but she's actually going to this thing because, I don't know, you don't use Snapchat regularly, but you know how it was a lot more linear? And you could click on a person, you could go to that third page and you could see all the people you follow's story. It's not like that anymore. It's not as linear. It's just random people, and they put the trending stories at the top, even if it's people you don't follow. And so people are literally raging and protesting because of this Snapchat update.
So, yeah, it's a little stupid. I guarantee you, the only way I will attend that meet is if the dog filter on Snapchat attends.
We will riot until the update gets changed back. They're going to riot
in Fed Square. They're going to riot
opposite a church. Can we keep in mind that there's St. Patrick's Cathedral is literally across the road.
Yeah.
You got the Macca's on one corner, the train station on the other corner.
We will fight them on the tram tracks with our Szechuan sauce.
We don't have Szechuan sauce
here,
though.
We should have Szechuan sauce.
Oh, and something that's a bit more up your alley. Apparently, according to Star Wars World, sorry, I'm illiterate, there is going to be an Obi-Wan spin-off.
Oh,
I don't know if this is legitimate. I've kept this.
You know the beauty about it, though? There's only going to be one.
It's coming out apparently on March 3rd. Yeah, I get your reference. Stop looking at me like that. And everyone's like, it's not Ewan McGregor.
It's not Ewan McGregor.
That's it.
Is it his brother?
No, it's some random aged guy who looks like he's in between the events of the first trilogy, not like the Holy Trilogy, but the bridge between the 3 movies that everyone hates and the Golden Years.
So Revenge of the Sith and Blue Harvest.
Because he's young, but he's not that young. Do you know what I mean? But he's younger than the age he's in the Holy Trilogy. Do you get what I mean? I don't know if this is legitimate. I'm looking for places, but this is apparently, according to Star Wars World,
yeah,
that's what it is.
So, why didn't they just get Ewan McGregor? He's already been Obi-Wan.
Because I'm guessing they wanted cheaper input.
Well, they wanted to Disney it more.
It's starting to shoot in 2019.
Oh, jeez. And so begins the never-ending cycle of Star Wars. It will never end.
Lucasfilm is in the process of setting up a project, and it has now been officially announced.
Well, there goes the farm.
It's being shot in London. It was originally going to be a problematic Han Solo spin-off, but because they killed him off, we're now investing in Obi-Wan Kenobi's
Well,
story.
think about it. Since Solo's gone, you can't have a Solo film. You have to have a franchise.
It's expected to be released in 2020.
Well, someone has a vision right there, don't they? The force is not very strong with that one. So... Also, you know what I think is going on with the force?
What?
Ducks. I want to know which is more force sensitive, a duck or a pigeon?
Pigeon.
Pigeon, you reckon?
Yeah.
But are we talking...
But hold on. What is more suited to long distance flight? Is it a pigeon or is it a duck?
Well,
I think it's ducks, because ducks fly south for the winter and they're more sensitive to the poles of the earth, right?
They may
Therefore, you can say that they would be more sensitive to the force.
Well, I know what they are sensitive to. Buckshot. Because they keep trying to fly south for the winter, but their plans of grandeur
How
keep
south
getting
is
shot
south,
down.
though? Like, when they say, oh, they're flying south for the winter, does that mean they're going to, like, the deep south? So, like, Louisiana? Or does that mean that they're coming all the way here to, like, Australia, New Zealand?
I think it's more effective. They fly so far south, they don't stop until they hear banjo music.
No, I'm being legitimately serious. Where is south?
Well, according to them, I suppose they follow some magnetic field.
So, we're talking, like, full-on south, so they're coming to Australia, New Zealand.
Yeah, they would be.
And the equator? Or is it... We're just going... Because the way they make it sound is as if they take, like, tens and thousands of miles worth of flight. And I'm thinking, they can't just be doing that in mainland USA. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, well, I mean, I'd assume that some of them would migrate thousands of miles, and some of them only a few, 100 miles. So you look at it and kind of go, I think it would fall into where ducks were raised, but essentially where they're born.
Yep.
What do they know? And essentially, well, everyone knows that they have a cycle, so...
It depends on the species. So you're right. It is... And they literally do fly south. Like, all the way down. Some, like... What have we got here? The short-tailed shearwater will go from... What is that? Alaska? No, that's not Alaska. That's Canada. No, that is Alaska there, right?
Yeah.
All the way from Alaska, and it'll come out the other side across that's the Pacific. So all the way to like Tas and Victoria and New Zealand.
Yeah.
And then you've got other ones that just split all the way to Antarctica, and some that just go to Africa. So it's like, it depends on species, which is obviously something I should have thought of to begin with.
On an interesting note, mallards, or dabbling ducks, they breed through the temperate and subtropical Americas.
So they're just central, they don't
like
go
Eurasia,
anywhere.
North Africa, New Zealand, and also Australia.
So Eurasia being Russia?
No,
like
like
Siberia?
Eurasia, like North Africa, New Zealand, Australia, Peru.
Eurasia
Brazil,
that's not what Eurasia is, though. Eurasia is like Siberia.
But no, that's saying where they sort of come from. So what they do is they have multiple cycles.
Yeah.
So you'd have they'd have a nesting phase.
Mm-hmm.
Then they, do the brood rearing. So
fatten up our babies.
Yeah, so we see them wandering around the car parks, hijacking and breaking into cars. So,
but seagulls aren't made for inland flight, though.
No, they're made for stealing chips from pubs.
Now.
Yeah. I mean, have you seen the amount of, seagulls that hijack the trains at Flinders Street?
But do we have actual numbers of, like, population growth? Are there actual statistics?
Yes.
On, like, obviously it'll be an exponential population growth phase. But are we talking about now that there are 10 million times more seagulls than there were before people started the convenience of the hot chip?
Yeah. Well, I look at it and I kind of go, the evolution of the sky pigeon or the...
Sky pigeon?
The area...
So there's a sky pigeon, is there? Is there a water pigeon?
Yes, there's
and
the
there's
water
an
pigeon.
earth pigeon. You should pitch Michael Bay?
Michael Bay.
That did the, I never watched it, but the Last Airbender movie.
Yeah.
You should ask him to make it about a pigeon.
Yeah, we could. And, well, there was like an anime... Was it a Pixar film on the birds from the was it the one where they have the
owls?
No.
The one with the owls?
No,
And they're like the guardians?
No, not the Guardians of the Gahul. The one where it's like World War II. They've got the pigeons that are flying over doing special air carrier service.
I'm sorry. Whenever anyone talks about birds in animated movies, I either think about that the guardian owls, or the ones from Finding Nemo where they're like, mine.
Valiant, that's it. So
I have no idea what that
basically it's an animated film, adventure comedy.
Google this.
It's when the Allies prepare for the D-Day invasion. So,
but the Allies are birds.
Yeah. So.
Oh, I sailed, chap. Did you go to the beachfront?
But that's an actual thing, because what happened is they used carrier pigeons during the war.
I'm
so
not that
that's what
uneducated.
And that's what they based it on. So using all the animals and everything. So Valiant is a 2005 adventure comedy.
So is it a story about if Winston Churchill was a seagull? Or is it the story about Winston Churchill's seagull?
No, it's just basically a pigeon that wants to be...
No, but the perspective I'm asking is it if Winston Churchill was a pigeon?
No.
Or is the story about Winston Churchill's pigeon?
No, it's just about a pigeon that wants to be part of...
a pigeon who wants to be
It wants to be part of the Royal Homing Pigeon Corps.
So he wants to be Churchill's pigeon?
No, he just wants to be...
Not Churchill specifically.
He wants to be a Churchill pigeon, yeah.
He wants to be Churchill's pigeon. He's trying to go to Churchill's pigeon school.
Yes. He's not going to be a pigeon tank, but he's going to be...
No, but do you know what I mean? Like,
Churchill,
is it like if Winston Churchill is a pigeon?
Yes.
Or is the story about Winston Churchill's pigeon getting the story out?
No.
But you're telling me it's about a pigeon who wants to be...
part of the Royal Pigeon Corps.
Yes, that's all I wanted to know. So it's the Queen's pigeon?
Sort of, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So these are the questions.
The Royal Homing Pigeon Service. So...
in case anyone was wondering, I have a grade point average of 90, so that was a very interesting conversation.
Yes.
I sound dumb, but I'm not really.
Me, on the other hand, I have a grade point average.
It came out in 2005. How do I not know about this?
So, just in case everyone's interested, today we're going to actually be going and watching that movie. So
don't tell me you have it on DVD.
I do.
Oh, God.
Like I said, eclectic. So, but yeah, pretty much just a case of birds being birds. But back to birds being birds. I don't understand how wherever you go, there's always that one pigeon and that one seagull that will always look at you. It knows exactly what's going on, similar to the rats, the squirrels in Rick and Morty. They know. If we could translate exactly what they said.
It'd be important.
It'd be important.
Could you imagine? They would be the perfect spies.
They would be.
No one suspects a pigeon or a seagull.
I mean, look at the ibis. Everyone's copped it a bad rap being a bin chicken now. But the fact
a bin chicken.
A bin chicken. But everyone's having a go because the seagulls, you think about it. If you wanted to create the perfect bioweapon transport system,
you do it with pigeons.
Imagine that during the AFL season.
Oh, God.
Influx of people, influx of pigeons. Have you ever noticed how there's an influx in pigeons? That's when the population boosts. It's got nothing to do with migration. There's no winter migration.
So you think it's about the Australian Football League?
It's about you got to understand the key thing in Australia.
Australia, mate.
Australia. The key thing in Australia.
Get a scratch on me hole and I'll fucking cut ya.
I'll cut ya. Unless you got a Ford, and then
we burn it.
Found on rusty driveways. So,
do you know you fix a Ford?
Burn it.
You buy a Chevy. That's according to what's it called? Think about it. The one with Ashton Kutcher. The Ranch. That's it.
Did you know that Vlad the Impaler had a Chevy? Yeah, he had a Chevy Impaler.
Oh, too soon.
Too soon. That was right on point, though, I think. So, pretty much, I've always wondered why there's a combination of ducks and pigeons and
That's
seagulls.
because they're evolved for different niches. Seagulls are supposed to stay coastal. Pigeons are what? Where did pigeons come from? Do you know what I mean? Were they domesticated and then became free, like canaries or budgies?
Possibly. I mean, you think about it, people have used
pigeons for years.
Pigeons for homing, racing pigeons, that sort of...
But is that where they came from? Were they, bred from seagulls and stuff?
Possibly. I don't think so, though.
So, back when we lived in sub-Saharan Africa, some hominid just picked up a bird and was like, you know what? I want to send a letter to my wife.
Well,
a rock tomorrow engraved carves the story in a stone, ties it to the seagull's thing.
And then just, bye. I mean...
Good luck, mate.
Well, look at it.
Here's some birdseed for your travels.
For your travels, be gone. But look at it. I mean, look at the albatross, for instance. It's coastal. Like the rocks. So they've got nesting on rocks. Very coastal. So, from memory, I think most info points to North America, where pigeons are coming from. But it was more a fact that pigeons were introduced into North America, I think, like 1600s or something. So a lot of this introduction has happened
over
hundreds of
domestication.
years, and now over time they've just been domesticated. But the beauty about cities, and the reason why you find them a lot in built-up areas, is because city buildings... No, it's not the trash. It's the buildings and everything provide rocky outcroppings. That's why...
Oh, so it's like you're mimicking their natural environment.
Exactly. You think about it.
And all the high points.
Yeah, and it's very humid. And I mean, look at, say, Melbourne, for instance.
CBD.
You've got a very humid environment.
Yep.
And there are days where the temperature is perfect for a brood. If they've got to, 30 to 40 degree heat, they can lay their eggs in the top of a building.
And just let them go.
And they're going to...
Be fine.
They're not going to get the New York style rats here.
Yeah. Thank God.
Yeah. So...
Just imagine me. No, see you guys.
Yep.
See you. Never coming back.
So,
talking about the rats, Bernard Tomic is not going to be at the Australian Open, which I think kick-started today.
Yes.
Early this morning.
He didn't make the cut.
And he was like, I have to go through the paper. Let me have a look at it. He said something really funny. I didn't note it down. But there's uncertainty about his future. I just count money. That's all I do. I count my millions, he said after he's lost. You go do what I did. You go, and this is what he said last year, where he was like, you go do what I did. You go make 13, 14 million. Good luck, guys. And he's projected to fall to 170 from 218 because of his loss and non-qualification. So, you're a big tennis buff. Who are you projecting? Oh, that's why I want to have a look at the stats. I'm pretty sure that they're expecting Federer to win.
He's probably the best chance. I'd like to see the Aussies, at least get into the quarters, or at least...
Oh, yeah, like, you shoot for your nation.
Absolutely.
But I don't think we got it. Like, I'm going to watch as many Aussie games as I can, but I don't think it's in us. I'm looking for... Here we go. Here are the stats. The Advantage Tennis Hunters. So, the men's outright betting, Federer to win the tournament is $2.88, and Wawrinka, who I want to win, is $51. So, for the girls, women's, sorry, I don't want to be rude and sexist, S. Halep, never heard of you, darling, but you're $9, and Venus Williams... the first Williams time in years that they haven't entered a competition together, like a tournament, because obviously Selena's had her beautiful baby, but Venus is projected to win at $26.
But how crazy was it? Serena
won a tournament pregnant.
That's...
You go, girl.
That's, I salute you. That's incredible. So... Very, very, very cool.
Imagine that. Imagine that as a story. Yeah, Mummy was pregnant with you when she won an Australian Open. I won $3 million with you in my stomach. Let's go.
Well, you think that kid is going to be born with a racket in both hands, ambidextrous. Literally, by the age of 5, I reckon probably going to win an Australian Open.
The father's the Reddit co-founder. I think, because the Aussie ex-Australian, what was her name? The one who was married to Orlando Bloom, and she was the face of David Jones after Megan Gale. I can't remember her name. But you know who I'm talking about. Yes. Where was I going with this? She married the Snapchat CEO. So I'm getting confused whether she married the Snapchat CEO or the founder of Reddit. Not married, but had a baby with.
Yes.
Not that there's any problem with having a baby before getting married, but
but it'd be nice to see.
So she's gonna have a laptop. What I was trying to say is she's gonna have a laptop in one hand, and she's going to manage the foreign posts for her dad.
Yeah.
And then she's going to play a racket with the other hand.
And then it's just like, problem solved. I can just clean this up.
Yeah.
But I want to see an Aussie win the Australian Open.
When was the last time an Australian won the Aussie Open?
The last time was 1976. That was...
way before my time and your time. So who was it?
Mark Edmondson.
When was the last time an Australian woman? That would have been... what was her name?
It's not Yvonne Goolagong. It's Chris O'Neill, 1978.
Yeah. So around the same time then?
Yeah.
76 and 78.
Pretty much. So... And then since then, it's primarily...
Been international based.
International. Roger Federer has pretty much cleaned up nearly all of the men's, and Serena has pretty much cleaned up most of the women's. However, I think it was 2016, Angelique Kerber.
We had a couple in like 2008, 2007. Wasn't that Sharapova? Because there was a couple of years where it was Sharapova, Sharapova, Selena, Sharapova, and then Serena.
Yeah, and then you also had Martina Hingis.
Yeah, but Hingis was literally just before my time.
And that was
when I started watching tennis. That's when she had her whole drug issues.
Yeah, but from 1988 to 1997 to 99, that was Hingis right there, and then you had a few other ones, but so yeah, it's just, and then like you go back and you look at the doubles in the men, and up to
I love those American brothers, the twins. I think they're twins. I can't remember their names.
You've got, I know that you've got, because Australia played Zimbabwe in the Davis Cup.
Yeah.
I think it was 90. Well, don't hold me to it. I think it was 95.
But you know the brothers that they only play in doubles, and they're twins and they're American, and just their form when they play.
They're not the Black brothers, are they? Because
no, they're non-coloured.
No. That's their surname.
They look like they're taller than Andy Roddick, and they play better than Andy Roddick. American tennis doubles, brothers.
Yeah.
This is like 2000 and something.
Well, when we had the Davis Cup, we had Byron.
Brian, you were close. Not Black, Brian.
Byron and Wayne Black from Zimbabwe. They were...
No, but these guys were American, and they're Brian, like Bryan, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're identical twins. And, like my dad was like, if you want to watch for form, and if you want to watch to see how you play perfect and for technique, these are the people you watch.
So is that Mike Bryan and Bob Bryan?
Yeah, Mike and Bob.
Yeah, the Bryan.
And they're always like in blue and white.
Yeah.
Every year, blue and white. And I always used to get confused if Andy Roddick had a brother.
Yeah.
And my father was like, "No, you idiot, they're twins."
So, it's going to be an interesting year, I think, because Murray's out with a hip
injury,
hip surgery. So, yeah, Nadal's in,
isn't he?
You know, who knows? It could be...
It's going to go to the Maestro and the Gladiator again, like we already know. I want Wawrinka to win because he hasn't won in ages, and I like rooting for the underdogs. Like, as much as you want to go for the people who have really shaped modern tennis, you just want someone new to come in every now and again.
Exactly.
Do you know what I mean?
So,
Hey, there's also this story. I picked it up and I haven't shown it to you yet because I wanted to hide it from you. But I have the PubMed ID if you're interested. And it's from the American Journal of Psychiatry. And according to Science Alert, which we love, I effing love science on the Facebook page, anxiety could be an early manifestation of Alzheimer's. So I'm screwed.
Nah, you'll be right.
Longitudinal association of amyloid beta and anxious depressive symptoms in cognitively normal older adults. And nowhere here have they stated what normal is. I think they're saying normal as in not being diagnosed with a anxious or depressive symptom.
Also, Sam Groth looks like he's going to be retiring from singles.
There are all these young kids, like I was looking through, because I downloaded the app, and I only download the app and have it on my phone during the tournament, and I uninstall it because there's no point having an app that only works 2 weeks out of 52 of the year, right?
Yeah.
So I went through, and I can honestly say, besides seeing Kyrgios, there weren't any other names that I recognised.
And I mean,
Sam Stowes was in there, and I want to watch her matches, but that's it.
Well, the interesting thing about Sam Groth is he holds the record for the world's fastest serve, which
what
is
is
263 kilometres per hour.
What's Roddick's?
Slower than that.
Nah.
I don't know, but I think it's like 240 something. Yeah, 249.
Yep.
So still,
It'd be interesting to see how many aces he bags.
but yeah, so he's retiring.
So is this his last tournament? Or
he didn't make the wild card, so he's out.
You liked watching his matches the last couple of years.
And see, that's tennis now. It's become a very much power play sport.
Who can serve the hardest?
And who can rally. I mean, I miss serve volleying. I'm very much a serve volleyer, so I prefer the serve volleying. And tennis now is, because you look at the rackets as well, the whole game is changing. It's very much...
It's not a kid in the backyard hitting up against
none
a
of these
wall.
wooden rackets with catgut strings. It's all very...
Catgut strings?
Yeah.
What?
They have catgut tennis strings.
As in from a cat's lower digestive system?
Yeah.
What?
Yeah, well, this is, it basically, they use natural gut. So,
this is more scarring than the time my grandmother told me that when she was making sausages and she wanted my help, that it was real intestine. Okay?
But it's...
Stop.
It's not used by... They didn't...
It's not used.
Sorry.
The intestine hasn't been used.
But it wasn't from cats. It was just called catgut, but it was actually used from sheep. So they originally used sheep intestines to make the strings. So
they use pig intestines for sausages, though, don't they?
Yes. Yeah.
So you're technically eating two meat products.
Yes.
In the one animal product. This is... there's some things that I don't...
Yeah. But you know why? The interesting fact is catgut is a type of cord, and it's a natural fibre which is found in the wall of animal intestines. So that's why they use it, because it's strong. So, I mean, you look at, I suppose, the evolution of football. How, they used...
rocks.
Yeah.
And then they went to animal hide and...
Yeah, so it's just evolutionary. And now you've got all these synthetic, cross fibres.
And a lot of them are just like whippersnipper wire too.
Yeah. Essentially,
and fishing wire that's just been not weaved, but...
They just spool it. And I mean, I always used to use Babolat. Because...
I remember when my dad... This was when Serena and Venus were in their prime. And my dad was like, you're going to become a tennis player. You don't have a choice. And I think he was inspired by, what's that, Australian? But then she went to Serbia and then she came back to Australia. You know what I'm talking about?
Yes, I do.
He was inspired by that and he's like, you're going to play tennis.
It was, I was about to say Dorovic, but that's pathology.
Not Dokic. Dokovic? No. Something. Jelena Dokovic. Something like that. But anyway, so he was inspired and he's like, even though you've asked to play this game beforehand and we played in the backyard, now you're getting professional lessons. So I went, and the first class, in quotation marks, or session, he took me to, and the guy was like, oh yeah, she's good, I'll just give her my racket, how good is she? And I played and I won the racket, and he had a Tweety bird on it.
Nice.
And it's somewhere at Bubba's house, I think.
But the question is, did you post a tweet?
No, this was before Twitter existed. This was like, if I was 10, 11, so this would be 2004, 2005, something like that. Yeah. I don't know, but I think Bubba still got it.
So yeah, amongst all my rackets, I'm mostly...
Look, you coached, so this doesn't count. You have like a bag of 20.
So it's mostly Wilson or, Babolat. But essentially, I mostly just used the synthetic gut strings because I use shitloads of topspin. So essentially...
You need something with a bit more tensile strength.
I mean, at the peak coaching playing level where I was playing pretty
much...
But
you were Pennant?
Yes,
though.
I was. And then essentially hitting that ball 7 days a week, I was going through.
And plus, you don't have the ability of like, oh, let's just go underground and send your racket off to get restrung.
No.
For 2 minutes.
So what you do is you'd have 2 or 3, even 4 of the same racket, and you get them strung at the exact same tension, and then pretty much just,
You know when they say they're restringing a racket, they have to take the whole string out, right?
Yeah, they basically just cut it and pull it out and then restring it.
How long? Like, there has to be a video of someone just.
It's easy. All they do.
It. No, but like re-weaving, like re-putting it in.
They have or
like is it a machine nowadays? Or do they have someone?
A machine and they just spin the frame around and just feed it through.
That's cool.
Yeah, so really
how much does that guy get paid? And does he follow the tournaments around the world? Or is there one in every city?
There'll be certain people who
follow the tournaments.
One of our friends that we used to know from Mildura, he actually...
was a stringer.
He was a stringer and he actually strung at the... Strung. Yeah, whatever.
Did he keep like the old... I'd be like...
He had a sign above his garage saying Agassiz House. So he actually... And he used to come down here, bit of a plug, but he actually worked for Kerno Tennis.
Right on.
So, yeah, that's where I get my gear through. So, yeah.
Yeah.
Pretty cool.
Yeah.
Small world.
Yeah.
So, essentially...
Yeah. So, any books you've been reading recently?
Well, at the moment, I've been reading Artemis by Andy Weir.
You found a spelling mistake in a...
Well, a grammatical error. So I messaged him saying I may have
you lucky duck,
found a grammatical error. And he responded, so, nice
I fangirled more than you did. You were like, yeah, whatever. And I was like, oh my God, this is amazing.
And pretty much just sent it. And he sent a reply, so nice guy. I was a big fan of The Martian, so I wanted to see...
Yeah, just a big enough fan to read it.
Yeah, I know, right? So, essentially, it's a case of just got to finish Artemis.
Dude, how many pages are you into it now?
Like 200.
And how many pages are you, like 360?
Yeah, something like that. So, once that's done, I then have to go read a book that I read from my childhood called Master of the Grove by Victor Keller.
How long is that going to take you? Another 2 months?
Probably a week.
Ooh. So, guys, how long is it going to take you to finish Artemis?
Artemis, I could finish it today if I pushed.
Oh, is that a challenge?
That's a challenge. So, essentially, it's
happening.
It's happening.
Things are happening in your life.
Yeah, so on the next podcast, I can pretty much give a review of Artemis and give that a bit of an interesting. And the reason why I thought of reading Artemis first is because we have a bunny named Artemis.
Yes,
so
we have our little princess, Artie Party.
Yes, so that's
not to be confused with Moriarty, who's a cat.
Yeah, and evil. So
she's not evil.
Well, Dr. Moriarty was a little bit...
Yeah, but Mori herself is not evil.
Well, she seemed a bit unhinged, so to say the least. So, yeah, so essentially, there are all the things going on at the moment.
Mm-hmm.
That and what's the go with these Jats Cracker flavoured drumsticks? I don't know what the heck's going on.
What?
They have Jats Cracker flavoured drumsticks.
Drumsticks is in the biscuit?
No.
Drumsticks is in
drumsticks,
the ice cream?
the ice cream. They have Jats Cracker.
Jats
Cracker. The crackers?
Yeah.
Caramel cracker, ice cream.
If you can't see my face, but it's a look of repulsion. What?
Yeah.
Did you hear about this thing? I don't even remember what washing detergent company it is in the US. But kids are actually eating, the washing machine pods?
Yeah, the dishwashing... Oh, sorry, the laundry ones. It's the ones with a liquid with a little ball.
I think it's orange or something like that.
Yeah.
Or orange or blue. And kids are eating them.
Why would you eat washing detergent? I don't get it. It's just...
Does it look tasty? Does it look like a fruit or something?
I don't know, yeah. But if you had the choice between eating ice cream and eating washing detergent, I'm pretty sure I'd be eating ice cream.
Yeah, but if you're 2 years old and you can only reach the washing detergent and not the freezer...
But the thing I don't understand is these kids aren't 2 years old. They're like 16, 17...
Oh, I thought they were young kids.
No,
like
it's the next...
Not suitable for children under 3.
It's the next challenge.
Oh, so this the YouTube... This is a YouTube trend?
It must be. So, in a way, sense, we've gone from, books to borderline botulism. So, it's...
Is that where we leave it?
I don't know, potentially. If everyone wants us to continue talking about oxidative agents, I mean, feel free to drop a line. It's like, we prefer, talking about the more, fun sort of side of
Fun.
things.
He says
Fun.
with a look of disdain.
Yeah. So disdain, fun.
All right, everyone. Thank you so much. I hope people are actually listening to this.
Yeah.
Shout out to all of you. Much appreciated. Thank you for supporting us in this new venture. If you want to come into contact with any of us, preferably not to spray pathogens, our links will be down below. YouTube channel, I'll put my YouTube channel down if you want to hear more about us. I have a Twitter. The show has a Twitter. The show has an Instagram. I think that I have no idea how this whole podcasting, uploading thing goes, besides you need to have something like SoundCloud or something to get the RSS feed. So at this point in time, unless people specifically want it on YouTube, I think I'm just going to put it on SoundCloud, obviously the Apple Podcasts app, and if anyone else wants anything later on, please let me know. But thank you so much for listening. I almost said watching, but that is incorrect.
And you'll find that if you listen to this in widescreen, the quality is actually funnier. Well, my voice is funnier.
Oh,
you know?
yeah.
Oh, yeah. So, so I guess on that note...
Ta-ta for now.
Ta-ta for now. Thank you very much for listening.
Air siren.
Air siren, yeah, definitely an air siren moment. So, unless you're in Hawaii, and we apologise in advance for the air.
We apologise if in stating any of the previous comments within this podcast we offended anyone. That was not our intention in any way, shape or form.
No, we just basically, if you got a laugh from it,
that's great.
That's great. But if anyone felt as though we went off...
Please let us know.
Please
we
let
apologise.
us know. We
wasn't
apologise.
our intention.
We're just,
two mates having a chat over. In case anyone was interested in what we're drinking, we had some tea today. The Dilmah Premium Single Origin 100% pure Ceylon tea.
Yeah.
I've had like 6 sips.
I've had like 2 cups.
So
big ones.
Thank you so much.
Yes.
And see you in the next one.
Yes.
Yay!